So this is the book Tricks, Traps and Tips in the Chess Opening by Dean Ippolito. Notice I'm pronouncing the last name correctly because it's an Italian last name. So it's not Ippolito like Americans say, Ippolito. With that said, this is a book of lessons about the many mistakes that one can make in the opening. So it's really, really important to read. I think it's a must for every beginner to read this book because it's not about opening memorization or opening repertoire. Is to tell you what you should do and why, which will give you a roadmap for the rest of your life as a chess player. Obviously, Ippolito is a very experienced coach. I think it's at international master level. And I would like to show one of his games. You will see this game from his perspective as black. This game is game 16 of the book, Caro-Kann Defense, Boris Reichstein, 2088, against Dean Ippolito, 2407. It was played in Maryland in 2014. E4, C6, this is the Caro-Kann. Okay, in fact he says it. This is the Caro-Kann defense. Black plans on putting a pawn in the center of move 2 instead of move 1. The pawn in the center is d5. d4, d5, e takes d5, c takes d5, c4, entering the Panov-Botvinnik variation of a Caro-Kann. Bobby Fischer used this often. For those who don't know Bobby Fischer, I just review another book, The Unknown Fischer by Cyrus Lakdawala. You can find the review in my YouTube channel. Knight f6, knight c3, knight c6, bishop e3. Here Ippolito gives us a lesson. He says the best move is knight f3, and generally why? Because you need to develop the knight before the bishop. Okay, so it gives you also something to remember. g6. My plan was to aim the king's bishop at the white's d4 pawn. So this is the king bishop here attacking this. Okay, that's why I played g6. c5, bishop g7, bishop b5. So now we see why I played c5. Castle. h3. Even though the position hasn't opened up yet, white should probably play knight f3 instead of h3. Okay? The idea of h3 is to stop black bishop or knight from coming to g4. But it is a little slow. Knight h3 is not a bad idea after he has castle, but king safety has to be priority here when the other side already has a better development. Because the problem is that white has the king in the center. So this is one of the themes of this game. Honestly, every beginner would benefit from watching Morphy's games. Morphy, a chess player, probably an official world champion like of 1850, he was really good at developing, attacking right away, so you would just give him a couple of tempi and he would actually win the game no matter what. It was amazing. Okay, so after h3, e5, this is a great move, right? Because this opened the center. So you say, oh wow, it's giving up a pawn. No, it's opening the center because this is here and he wants to bring this to attack that, or this queen. In any case, he wants to keep that king in the center so he can attack it. That's why this move was slow. And here it says, this blows up the center for the fourth time and opens the file that the white king is on. Bishop takes c6 is a dubious move. This will open up another line of attack for black, the b file, because once you open it, whoop, he attacks here, okay? It was better play knight g e2. Yes, this was better. Now, I want to tell you one thing. I don't like to repeat all the variation of a book because obviously the author probably wants to make some money out of the book. So if I repeat everything, maybe it's not so good for him. But I also try to teach you something while we are watching this review of this great book. So he says, if white played this, how would you continue? And this is what you need to think, because the book will tell you the answer. But you need to be active as chess player in order to learn. It gives a little line that shows that black would be winning, okay? If white would have played that. So that's really important. Instead, white played knight g2, and like he said, boom, he occupied the file because he's already attacking here. So this rook is now active. It's in the game instead of being in a8 doing nothing. Okay? White continue with b3. And now you must understand why this b3 is not so good. You remember that he said that he wanted to put the bishop here to attack here? Well, now watch the line. There is this in danger, and behind there is this. So it's really terrible already for white, this position, right? But how did black continue here? He continued developing. You need to develop all your pieces, bringing them out. Put them in active squares that control more squares. D takes e5. White still needed to castle. No? Obviously, many of these games that are lost because one of the two players, no matter the rating, in this case it was rated 2000 player, has violated some opening principles. And in this case, the problem is the king in the center. You can see, I said to watch Murphy's game, but in reality you can see the young Kasparov, he won a ton of his games just because the opponent left the king in the center. So it was very interesting to watch also Kasparov games. Like d7, again you can see 1, 2, 3 are all going to be attacked. f4, queen a5, the queen pins the knight to the king, king f2. This walk into a lot of tactics, it might just be lost already, although castle was still better. Okay, it seems castle was the move to play, and as you can see, white never played it, okay? Knight takes c5, queen d2. Also in this case, probably was better to play bishop takes c5. f6. And once more, this blows up the center. You see that he's trying to open the line because his rooks are already active, while white rooks are behind and not protecting anything. So you see these two rooks are not doing anything, while these two rooks are trying to do something. So black has an advantage. Obviously, this is a temporary advantage in the sense that if black doesn't play with a lot of energy, with strength, and open the lines, he will not win the game, okay? Bishop takes e5, queen takes e5, check. Queen d4. Obviously, white wants to trade the queens. Why? Because when you are under attack, the more pieces you swap, the better you are, at least at avoiding the big problems. But probably if you were black here, and that's why it's great to have this book, because it's simple, about simple principles that every one of us must be continuously reminded in order to improve our chess. But here, you don't want to exchange the queens. Because if you exchange the queens, you have lost the energy to attack, the pieces to attack this king. Because the goal, at the end of the day, is to give checkmate, right? Not to win a pawn and then try to convert it in the endgame. Generally, the goal is to give checkmate. So, queen e7, no? Queen e4, attacking this, bishop takes e2, knight takes e2. So this exchange was made to remove a defender. The king had these two knights that were defending and keeping the position stable. Now the things are not stable anymore. Again, once more, please notice this. This is real, okay? And it's gonna be a problem for white at a certain point. F takes e5, oh my god, incredible, it's already over. Rook takes, queen takes e6, okay? E takes f4, king takes d5, king h8, rook c1, queen e3, and king e1. Okay. So in this position, try to pause the video and try to guess what would be black's next move. Okay. Black next move is f3. G takes f3. Rook b e8. All the rooks are going to kill the king. Queen d2. And queen takes f3. White resigns since after rook g1, queen f2, king d1, and rook d8 wins the queen. In any case, the game is a little desperate at this point, so probably there are also some other winning continuations, okay? Up to you to find them. I think it was a beautiful game to watch, and there are many beautiful games, but not only. I would like to show you that Coach Ippolito has put a lot of diagrams as exercises in the book, so it gives you the chance to also practice what he preaches, right? He's trying to teach you something, and then it gives you an exercise to learn what you have to do, okay? So there are a lot of exercises. The book is really good for everybody that wants to improve his thinking, chess thinking.